Good holy everyone, and welcome to your second summative test reviewer. That's for Science 8 second quarter. So for this part, we will going to first discuss about the earthquakes and fault. As for the part 1, we discussed this one on our first week of second quarter. So let me give you the key concept about this topic. When we talk about earthquake, it is a shaking or trembling caused by a sudden release of energy. Earthquakes plus or result of energy being released when a fault slips. So as you may see on the illustration, when there is a sudden movement or slip on the fault lines, there will be a resulting of shaking or trembling. And we can feel this shaking or trembling towards the Earth's surface. It's because of the seismic waves. So seismic waves are waves of energy that travels through Earth's layer and are results of the earthquakes. So again, on the faults, when there is a sudden movement, magkakaroon ng earthquake or possibility na magkakaroon ng earthquake. So we can feel this shaking or trembling due to the seismic wave. Moving forward, let me give you another key concept. When we talk about seismograph, it is a device used to measure the earthquakes, as you may see on the picture. Next, when there is a sudden movement or trembling, nagkakaroon or gumagalaw itong ball na to. And then it will provide you a graph. So this graph is what we refer to as seismogram. It is a graph output that provides a data used to find the earthquake's epicenter. And then we also have seismologists. It is an earth scientist who study the formation and propagation of the seismic waves in geological materials. And also, Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, which stands for PHIVOLCS, is a government agency in the Philippines that monitors the earthquake. So again, try to recap. Seismograph is the device. Seismogram is the graph, and seismologist is the person who studies the formation and propagation of the seismic waves or studies the earthquake, and PHIVOLCS is the government agencies that monitors the earthquake. Next, can you describe what's in the picture? I know that some of you knows what this is. So that is what we refer to as fault. Fault is a large break in the rock along which movements of Earth's crust occur. So probably meron nang nangyaring earthquake or may mangyayaring earthquake on this particular area. That is what we refer to as fault. Next, types of fault class, we have three major types based on your reference. When we talk about reverse fault, it is created when two plates are pushed together by compression forces. So if you can still remember, we discussed about different types of stresses, and one of those are the compression. So when you push apart, due to the compression forces, two plates are pushed together. So this is which resulted to what we refer to as reverse fault. Next one, we also have the normal fault, which is when rock layers in the Earth's crust are pulled apart. Strike-slip fault is when rocks on the opposite side of the fault slides past each other horizontally. So those are the different types of faults that we discussed before. Next, an earthquake may be described in two ways. So we have the intensity and we also have the magnitude. The major difference between these two is that when we talk about intensity, it is the effect on people or surroundings. The intensity of an earthquake gives us an idea of how strong or weak the shaking is. It is the amount of shaking and type of damage at a particular location. Now, when we talk about magnitude, it is the energy release coming from the fault. And usually this is measured using the seismogram. Severity of the earthquake shaking is assessed using a descriptive scale. Remember that we use if we are using intensity, we are going to use modified Mercalli intensity scale or MMI scale to measure kung gaano ka-strong or weak the shaking is. And when we talk about magnitude, we use Richter's scale, and it was developed in 1935 by Charles Richter together with Benno Gutenberg. So those are the two things that we use in order to describe how intense or how strong or weak an earthquake is. Moving forward, let me give you the location and depth of an earthquake. So yes, I know that you're familiar with this one. Focus, which also known as hypocenter, it is a place where the first break happens. So when the fault starts to slip, when first movement takes place, it is the starting point of the earthquake. So right above this focus or the hypocenter is what we refer to as epicenter. It is the spot directly above the focus. It is the region where violent earthquakes are felt. So as you may see on the illustration, nandito po tayo sa focus. Right above this focus is epicenter. And yung red lines is what we refer to as seismic wave. So for example, you're standing on this particular area or yung nasa bahay at nandito po yung focus, or nandito yung focus and epicenter, we can feel this shaking or trembling. It's because of the seismic waves. Now, anatomy of earthquake, the same pa rin. When we talk about fault, the fracture in the rocks that make up the Earth's crust. Epicenter is the point at the surface of the earth directly above the focus. Focus is, or hypocenter, is the point within the earth where an earthquake rupture starts or wherein the earthquake starts. Plate is the massive rocks that make up the outer layer of the earth's surface and whose movement along faults triggers earthquake. And seismic waves, na-discuss ko na po how many times we can feel the earthquake or we can feel the shaking. It's because of the seismic wave. Next, earthquake waves. So we have three major types of earthquake waves. So we have P wave, S wave, and L waves, or the surface wave. So P wave class is what we refer to as primary wave. So it is primary, it is fastest, and the first seismic wave which are detected or can be detected by the seismographs. Travel through solid, liquids, or gases, and a compressional wave, meaning materials movement is in the same direction as the wave movement. Next, S wave or the secondary wave, they travel about 1.7 times slower than P waves, and secondary waves last, remember, that oscillates the ground perpendicular to the direction of the wave travel. And the last type of wave is the L waves or the surface wave. It is slower than P and the S wave, but are usually larger ground movements and greater damage kapag L waves. Next, facts about earthquake. Aftershocks is a small earthquake after a giant quake, which is the main shock. So meron tayong tinatawag na aftershock at meron tayong tinatawag na main shock. Main shock is yung earthquake talaga which was first came, and then followed by an aftershock after a few months, after a few hours, minutes, hours, days, weeks, or even months. And usually, main shock is mas malakas sa aftershock. Okay, aftershocks are more dangerous based on the scientists. It's because the main shock, aftershocks are more dangerous than the main shock. It's because it is harder to predict when it will occur. Another facts, scientists can characterize the seismic risk of an area. So pwede nilang identify that this area probably magkakaroon ng earthquake, and then it's because of those seismic risks, but cannot accurately predict kung kailan darating, what time, what day, or what specific area darating yung earthquake. And animals like dogs display unusual behavior the days before an earthquake occurs. Based on the findings of some scientists, dogs have wider hearing range and better scent detection. So some scientists suggest that dogs can hear seismic activities that precedes earthquake. And another earthquake fact is that fortune tellers cannot make predictions about the upcoming earthquakes. We consider this one as superstitious belief. Next, so another important thing that you need to know that right after an earthquake, there is a possibility na magkakaroon occurrence of a tsunami. So faults are found not only on land but also under the sea. Underwater earthquakes results in the sudden vertical deformation of the seafloor, and this sudden push from the underwater can produce a wave which we call tsunami. And most tsunami class results in displacement along the fault in the ocean. So probably if the focus or if there is a fault slip in the ocean, there is a probability na magkakaroon ng tsunami. And that's the end of our part 1. I really hope you understand the topic well. So we will see you once again on our second part. Thank you.